No, I want to go, welcome to the Blunt and the Beautiful, where society comes to be dissected.
Don't hit the C on comes like that.
Welcome to the Blunt and the Beautiful, where I discuss everything that interests me and everything that should interest you with my beautiful daughter, Tansy.
And I listen and tell her when she's wrong.
Hello and welcome to the Blunt and the Beautiful, and I'm here with my beautiful girl, Tansy. How are you, darling?
I am well. How are you?
I'm
Miss Katie?
grumpy.
Fucking A, you are. Oh, I had the shits up in the car, kids. Let's go.
Yeah, I was being a real right mole in the car today.
Ooh, I said, you've brought a strange energy into the space today. What's happened?
I don't know. But this is our last episode for 2025.
Beautiful. And what a year.
I know, what a year. Can you believe it?
I know. Two little dorks commodifying their mother-daughter relationship. Beautiful
I'm waiting
girls.
for that commodification to
We've
come through.
had bites. We've had nibbles.
Nibbles. And so in the spirit of that, I thought, why don't I not do any preparation and we'll just talk about whatever, because I think that's where we're at our best.
I agree. Katie doesn't have her doctor's notepad today. She's got her glasses in her hand as a bit of a crutch, but they're not on her little face.
Do you know what I noticed in an episode when Dave was on and when Mel was on? I spend my time twiddling my thumbs. What is that?
For those of you who didn't know, Kate trained in musical theatre. If you think it's a bit rhubarb, I think you're doing a bit of busy work in the background.
Yeah, like opera laughing.
I think it's a bit like that, yeah.
Yeah. So I don't have any props today.
That's okay. You're doing it now.
Oh, fuck, I am. I have to sit on my hands.
Yeah, good.
No, I thought, what are we going to talk about? And I thought, the thing I get questioned a lot about is, how do I have a good relationship with my daughter?
Mm-hmm.
And it is an interesting question because connection requires participation.
Mm-hmm.
And you do need to, you can't expect your daughter to do all the work, and you can't expect your mother to do all the work if you want a connection.
Absolutely.
And so for me, I want to talk about some of the things that I think are pretty shit mother things to do, and also some pretty shit daughter things to do, and knock it off. That's it.
Absolutely. I'd like to preface this conversation with, I see people DM me or you or whatever and be like, your relationship is perfect. It's not.
No.
It's not a perfect relationship. We still shit each other to tears. You did it to me on the way in today. But we do love each other very much, and we do have a good relationship, absolutely. But it's not, no one's is a perfect one.
No, and we're in this weird spot where we, work together twice a week.
Yeah.
And I think that, last week we saw each other for lunch because I'm working in the city at the moment. And it was really nice to see you outside of work.
It was really nice. It was a weird thing where we see each other outside of work now with like Dave and Spike as well. And that's more of a whole family thing. But you and I have in the past spent a lot more time just one-on-one together.
Mooching.
Having a mooch, haunting Southland for a long, long time. But now that doesn't happen as much because, busy girls. So it was nice. It was fucking Antarctic though in the shitty, but it was lovely to have a bagel.
Yeah, it was nice. It was very, very cold. It wasn't a welcoming kind of spring weather. But no, it's that thing that I think I have to be really mindful to say, hey, I'm in the city. Do you want to come and meet me? Or, try and make that effort, because I think that maybe it's not my generation, Gen X, but I think the boomer generation is, and I see it a lot around Christmas, the expectation that you have to go to your mother's or go to your mother-in-law's and it's all about them on Mother's Day, even though you might be a mother, even though you might have children and trying to start your own Christmas traditions. I was talking to a friend of mine and they have to drive to their in-laws, then they have to drive to their parents' house. They're going to spend most of Christmas Day in the car. And I'm like, Where are your family traditions?
This is, yeah, I mean, we had something similar to this. Our extended family always lived very far away, and we used to spend, a good 7 hours on Chrissy Day, to and froing. And then there was one year when I was flying to Europe, fancy, at midnight on Christmas night, and we just did Christmas the four of us.
Flights.
Yeah, we just did Christmas the four of us at home, and we'd never done that before. And we all sat around and we're like, oh, we're in the car today.
Yeah.
We're having a prawn and an oyster at home.
Yeah.
This is actually really nice.
I think mothers have a responsibility that when their daughters or sons have children, they say, right, I've had my time.
Yeah.
I'm checking out. What would you like to do for Christmas? You owe me nothing and I owe you nothing.
Yeah.
If your son and your daughter-in-law decide that they're going to spend the day with that family, her family, because they've got cousins and you don't, like, it's not a representation of how much someone loves you, what you do on Christmas Day.
Fuck no.
And it can turn apocalyptical between families.
Well, it feels like a really antiquated version of like love or tradition, is this constant like, but that's what we do here.
Yeah, I hate that.
But traditions can change, or, they can be amended. It's not a fucking constitutional right that I go and eat some dry turkey at your house every year.
Yeah, and traditions that mean that someone's unhappy is not a tradition that's working for everyone.
Well, traditionally, Christmas is quite unhappy for a lot of people.
Yeah. I mean, we've done Christmas, maybe with your partners or Spike's partners over the years, and made it a lot smaller and a lot more intimate. But the only tradition we have is that you and Spike like to open a present on Christmas Eve.
Well, that's not true, Kate. We also like to watch carols by candlelight, and by we I mean me.
And me.
Yeah, appointment television.
Yelling at the telly.
Yeah.
What's Sylvie Palladino going to wear this year?
Fucking A. That's my advent calendar, kids. That's day 24, motherfucker.
It is very special. And you make a pavlova. So that's as traditional as it gets.
I probably prefer, in my experience, Christmas Eve to Christmas Day because of that, of making the pav, yelling from the kitchen, what's she wearing? Oh, it's terrible. Dave, me yelling, what's she wearing? Dave going, it's not good.
Yeah,
from
Anthony Calea and his silver
in his bedazzles. Fantastic.
Well, you know what's funny about us is that we started going to sort of restaurants for Christmas lunch because I've had enough.
Absolutely.
I've had enough.
It's not your thing, my love.
And when, I don't know, I'm just like, I don't want to line up at the Paran Market for the seafood. Like, I'm tired. I'm tired. I don't want to, pay $900 for a ham. So we decided to go out, which has been really lovely. But because we love Christmas food, we make a mini Christmas dinner of leftovers.
Yes.
So we come home and go, oh, there's Pat.
Yes, I did make a full pavlova and then we went out for lunch at a restaurant. That's true.
We had a mini ham.
Making it.
We had a cheese platter.
Yeah, look, it is a bit the fat comptroller laughed, isn't it? Isn't it? It's a very jolly holiday in our house.
That's so funny. And then we were acting surprised. Like, you'd open the fridge and go,
oh, potato salad. Oh, yum. Fucking hell.
Yeah, we made a potato salad as well. Anyway, I think if you grow up with a lot of those expectations and these are traditions and don't upset your mother or your father's expecting you, then you can either carry on and keep doing that and make it difficult for your kids, or you can say, nah,
don't worry about it, babe.
Because Mother's Day is another one.
I didn't experience either of my grandmothers being like, Mother's Day is my day.
No.
Kate. I didn't. That was not our family dynamic. No. I do see it around or sorry, doing beatboxing into the microphone, particularly on fucking Line, I see it where people being like, he didn't spend Mother's Day with me and I'm his mother. And they're like, yeah, but his wife has 3 kids.
Yeah, it's right. She does have 3 kids and stop making it all about you forever. That's the thing that I struggle with, these family traditions. A phone call to my parents on Mother's or Father's Day was enough. If they were around, sure, I'd see them. I don't give a shit. I didn't see you fuckers for Mother's Day this year. Did you?
No.
Maybe.
Oh, why would you? Your birthday's the week after. It's, what is it, Katie's May
I
month?
said to you, I'm writing, don't come over.
That was your present. I shut the fuck up for 24 hours.
Yeah.
Lucky girl. Yeah.
But these are the things, right, that I have to keep reminding people. It is not a reflection of how much your kid loves you.
No, I think, I don't know. People often find those big days. I mean, how much does your kid love you on any day, let alone a fucking holiday? You can't expect them to kind of get it up for you. That's a terrible way to phrase it. We're talking about parents. But to show off for you on these big days of like a gesture when they kind of are hollow if your relationship isn't that deep underneath it.
No, I agree with you. I think it's fundamentally, if it's all performative.
Yeah.
And I think when people say, how do you have a good relationship with your kid? You have to put yourself in their shoes.
Absolutely.
Or, you know, when they're little and you have to get on your knees and go, what are you actually upset about? Talk to me about it. Talk me through this.
Yes.
You have a responsibility to put yourself in your child's shoes at whatever age they're in. And I think that's the thing that I have been really mindful of, particularly as you have grown up, is you are an adult, you make your own decisions, and I am a parent of you as an adult. Unless you come and say to me, Mum, how do I do this, or what am I doing here, or I'm not sure how to fill this form in, I'll help you, absolutely, but I'm not going to assume that I know better than you.
Absolutely. And I do ask you for your advice, not about forms. You're terrible at forms.
I'm terrible at forms.
But about other stuff for sure. I remember you saying this to me once years ago, that parenting like a child into an adult is interesting because when you're parenting a child, you're parenting constantly, but the stakes are quite low.
Yeah.
And then when you're parenting an adult, you're parenting them very rarely, but it's really high stakes when it happens because you're dealing with adult problems at an adult scale. And I think that's a really lovely way to put it, because that's what it feels like, right? Like when I've come to you as an adult with a problem, it's not just like, how do I do my shoelace anymore? It's like, oh, my relationship's fallen apart. I need to move house in the next, blah, 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 whatever. And that's... it's like a real problem that needs real solutions and also probably real money.
Well, interestingly, when you had to move house earlier this year and you rang me really upset, you rang Dad actually, very upset. You were having a bit of a cry and you were facing a problem. You had to move. There was all this stuff and Dave was like, oh, I don't know. And I just said, no, we'll find a way.
Yeah, we'll work it out.
And I'm very much will find a way.
You have always been it's not over till the fat lady sings. I remember you saying to Spike and I once, it's not over till the fat lady sings, and I haven't said a peep.
I haven't
fucking said a peep, mate.
Do you know, I will never take no for an answer as the first round.
Yes.
So when we went to Tasmania on the Griswolds holiday, we went with your partner at the time, Spike's partner at the time. We all went to Tassie. The night before we were flying out, I'd booked a minibus and they said, sorry, the minibus isn't available. And Dave went, oh, we'll have to take 2 cars. And I said, the fuck we will.
Yeah.
Mate, I got on the buttons, as you like to say.
Fucking hell, she did.
And I got us a minivan. I got us a bus, actually.
Yeah, nothing mini about it, by the way, as we got on the fucking ferry to Bruny Island. Nothing mini about it.
I was not taking 2 cars.
You got a bus so big that Dave got COVID and none of us caught it. That's how big the fucking bus was. We were all sitting far enough away from each other.
But I guess my point is here that, you know, if a child is coming to you and they need you to help them as an adult, then you do it. I got interviewed the other day for a radio station and there's a study that's come out that's saying more and more adult children need help from their parents.
Yeah.
Because you're not being paid enough. It's
Cost
really
of
hard
living's
to buy a
fucked, yeah.
house. Problems are hard. There's a lot of stuff. They were like, how much support do you give your adult children? And I said, a fuck ton.
Yeah.
A fuck ton. And you know what? My parents gave me a lot of support as an adult as
Absolutely.
well. Like whether I was unwell with depression or, you know, when you were born. I mean, I remember my mum leaving the first time when I'd had you, and I think she came over every day, and then one day she said, oh, well, I won't be back till Sunday. And I was like, what? You're leaving me with her?
Where are you going?
Do this? And I think that generation of, well, you're 18 and you've got to move out, so get fucked. You know, that is like Why do you think your kids don't speak to you now?
Funnily enough, I'm going to quote the Real Parenting Bible. I watched an interview with Kris Jenner recently, Momager herself, and someone similarly was like, why are you so involved in your adult children's lives? And she said, because I didn't have kids to get rid of them when they turned 18.
Yeah, that's
She
interesting.
goes, I had kids to watch the big, beautiful lives they would build. I had kids because I loved them. I had kids so my life would be filled with like joy and fucking wonderment. I didn't have kids, so at 18 I could be like, well, it was harder for me. Fuck off. Like, why is that the intention?
Yeah, I think, and also that generational thing of Gen X. Well, when I grew up, I didn't have anything and we had to raise ourselves and we were latched to kids. Well, it doesn't mean that your kid has to do that. Do better. Do better than what your parents did. That's the thing. Just because you went through it and survived it, but you're still fucked up, doesn't mean that your kid has to go through it.
Yeah, and how good was it? You're still fucking talking about it. Jesus Christ. It has very similar, less nefarious, but similar vibes to like, oh, that's not aggression. I'll show you aggression.
Yeah.
When I was a kid. Oh, fucking hell, give it a rest.
We had a thing in our house. My dad was pretty funny, and his father would talk about how hard it was. And no doubt it was hard.
He was in the war and shit. Yeah,
but my dad would make these jokes like, when I was a kid, I lived in a box in the middle of Bay Street and I ate lamb dripping sandwiches.
Fucking hell.
It was just like, but my dad to look at his dad and go, for fuck's sake, shut up.
So fucking boring.
So the thing that I really am mindful of with mothers and daughters in particular is stop talking about their bodies.
It's so weird. I don't get the body thing. I don't get it. You are very good at not talking about my body, but even like you were really mindful compared to so many parents I've seen, but even if you have any sort of relationship, positive or negative to your body, your daughter sees it immediately. And so times in which you've like either struggled or thought about how you feel, like your body and how it looks.
Hating myself.
Yeah. But if you, like, even though you didn't say anything about my body, because we're genetically related and I saw similarities in our build, I would go, oh, that's bad.
Yeah.
Because you hate it in you.
But that came from me. So one of the things I was constantly told as a child from my mother, which was supposed to be funny, which was that I didn't have any ankles. I have cankles. And it was so funny. And we went to get you sandals and they said, we don't have any ankles. There's nothing to put the sandals around. Like that was, so I grew up.
Shit joke, by the way, guys.
Terrible joke. I grew up so self-conscious about my ankles. And so I've, interestingly, at 54, decided to face that head on, and I'm wearing a dress on Christmas Day.
I know. I was very excited about that for you.
Because I was like, I don't own any dress. I don't have a single dress in my wardrobe because I'm so self-conscious about my ankles. And then I think, who the fuck said that was the rule?
Yeah, who gives a shit?
Where did that rule come from? Like, why am I I was so body shamed about having a fat ass and having ankles as a kid that I've become so self-conscious about it as an adult. And now I've gone, no, actually, that doesn't mean anything.
No.
Don't do that to your kids. Don't make your kids' bodies a joke.
Fucking A, because you did a fantastic job at never making my body a joke. You were so complimentary of my body or neutral about my body, and I think that that's so important. And what I find interesting about it is because you did the kind of everything right, and then it was your relationship with your body that I projected onto.
I'm sorry.
That's fine, but I think that's what's interesting is that you did everything right, and then this thing that should be holy about you. Kids are such little mimics and parrots, right? That when you go, oh, I hate the way I look in this, and I go, oh, I got my mama's ass. and then I go, oh, should I hate my bum? If she
God damn it.
Yeah, but then you would be like, oh, Tansy, you have such a beautiful figure. Look at you, blah, blah, blah. And I'd be like, and then that was the disconnect.
But you said
I was
you
like,
didn't like
but
my
why is it nice on me and fugly on you? What's the go here? And that's all the things because you did all of it right.
Yeah.
And then it's just because it's impossible to be like, oh, before you have kids, make sure you love every single thing about yourself because you can never be unhappy with anything again because your kids will like parrot it.
Yeah.
But I find it interesting because I think compared to so many parents I know and mothers I know with daughters, you were so conscientious to not fuck me up or make me feel poorly about my body in any way. And I think you did far above the kind of
that's nice. Thank you.
net average by a mile. And then I think kids are so quick to trying to understand the world around them. So even though you did everything right, I was like, okay, well, she's saying I'm nice, but there's something else here.
Well, yeah, I think the other thing for me is that looking at you, it was really important because I know you had a hard time at school because of the way your body was different earlier, your arm, you have 2 different coloured eyes. You had grey hair earlier because of the nerve damage, all of that stuff. And I think for me, it was really important to keep telling you that school isn't forever and it does get better.
Yeah.
And that was my thing that I when people say, oh, my kid's having a terrible time, and I just keep saying to them, just finish school. It gets better. It gets better. You find your people, you find your crew, you find, the world. You suddenly go, oh, my God, I found my little, coterie of dorks or whatever it is that you're into. That school is not the be all and end all. And if school is the happiest time of your life, then I'm worried. I'm worried. And people will argue with me about that.
Yeah.
It's probably a simpler time. That's why you felt it was happiest. But how much agency did you have? I mean, I look back and think, what was my happiest time of my teenage years? 17.
Yeah.
17 is a fucking great age.
Yeah.
I was in year 11. I was kind of in the clubs, out of the clubs. No one was checking for, ID. I was going to pubs but not fucking up. It was no pressure of year 12.
Yep.
But I go, that was my happiest teenage years, but I've had way better times as an adult.
Absolutely. But I feel like it's the parent that often was a bit peaky in high school, sorry to say it, that is the one that turns to their kid and is like, no, high school's amazing. And I'm like, for you, for sure. You weren't like this with me, but I've seen it in other parents, this idea that like, well, you liked high school. That doesn't mean I have to like it.
Yeah.
For me, as we've talked about, throw it back to season 1, the grief episode, a friend of mine died halfway through year 10. And so then the rest of high school was kind of really marred by that.
Yeah.
And so I reflect back on high school and it's quite warm, but I think it's a little bit arrested development-y anyway because it's like my memory of my friend that's connected to that. That's the connective tissue. Because actually the day-to-day going to class, as you know from emails you got from my teachers, wasn't really happening as much. It was, hey, Tansy said she wasn't in today and I keep seeing her walking past the window like fucking creeping Jesus. But you did a very good job with me because I was a troubled teen vibes.
Yeah, you were.
Also, cunt. I was an absolute little cunt for a period of time there.
But this is the thing, right? Oh, my daughter's been really awful to me. I had an email the other day. I had a DM the other day of a woman going, oh, my daughter won't go to school, but she's not, there's nothing, she doesn't have anything wrong with her, blah, blah, blah. And I said, well, school refusal is almost borderline an issue. There are whole departments at the Royal Children's Hospital that deal with school refusal. There is something going on for your daughter.
You just don't know what it is,
She would want to be with her friends. She would want to be in that social world. There will be something going on, and it is your job to find the right people who can draw that out of her.
Yeah, figure it out.
So if your kid is being... And that's an interesting thing because is your kid being a fucking nightmare because they're not managed properly with their mental health or whatever? Are they being a nightmare because you didn't say no enough?
Yeah.
Like, have you created that as a parent? Is maybe the dad less interested? Like, are you both coming at it at the same time and responding appropriately to that child? If the dad's saying, oh, it doesn't matter, and the mum's saying, no, but it does matter.
Yeah.
There has to be a responsibility of both parents.
Same page
Every time. And I don't think that children are nightmares for no reason. And I also think that children don't estrange from their parents for no reason.
Absolutely. I think withdrawal from any social circle for a child, whether that be their like family or their friends or school or whatever, is a marker of something being wrong. I think particularly estrangement. I mean, we've talked about this a lot. And I've got lots of friends that are estranged from their parents as well. Right. And there is particularly from the mother, to estrange from your mother, something that like goes against all of your biology. Something's wrong. Something's happened.
It's the hardest when people say, I'm estranged from my mother or whatever, and I go, that must have been really hard for you. It is the hardest thing that you will do.
No.
Um, and it's really painful, but sometimes it's the only way, and it's not a thing that hasn't happened just instantly.
It takes ages.
Yeah, and it gets to the point where particularly if the mother is so enmeshed with the child that they don't understand boundaries, they don't understand that this is an adult child who has their own children and has their own life, and that they're making their own choices, and I think it's really, people say, oh, everyone's, estranging now, your generation, and everyone's estranging. And I'm like, yeah, but how much of those parents have done the work? Have they called up and said, listen, I was really fucked to you because my mother was fucked to me, and that's the modelling I taught, and I'm really trying to change it.
Well, yeah, absolutely. I also think about people my age estranging from their parents. At what point is that because I looked around and I thought, oh, well, I don't want to be my mum crying in the laundry on Christmas Day because my grandmother's such a cunt.
Yeah.
So instead, I'm going to put up boundaries and be like, you can't speak to me like that. We're not doing that. We're not doing that. We're not doing that. And if those boundaries are unmet for so long, at some point you've got to go, well, then I'm out, babe.
Yeah, and I think those estranged parents don't realise that the grandchildren see it. The grandchildren suddenly go, I really hate the way your mum speaks to you. And that parent can begin to go, actually, I would not speak to my child like that. Or the child says, stop treating me like your mum treats you.
Yeah.
And if you can have that moment and go, oh, actually, I've got a lot of work to do. That's your responsibility as an adult.
Absolutely.
And I know it's really complex. I know that kids are strange because of substance abuse, because of mental health issues. If you know, though, that you've tried to reconnect and you've tried to do that work, you should do that work for yourself, whether that child comes back into your life or not. And you have to take responsibility for the child that is standing in front of you and how they are behaving.
Absolutely. I think something you've done really well with Spike and I is kind of being like, okay, well, I know who you are and I know what you like and I know what you don't like and I know what buttons I can't push. And it's not because, there are big gaping, we can't talk about that's in our relationship, but there's just, everyone has sensitivities and you're good at understanding what each other's are. Do we still tread on them from time to time? Yes, we do.
I'm so mindful of it though. You're an adult, right? And so if you come to my house and you start cleaning up, I would go, what the fuck is wrong with you? So if I go to your house...
Yeah.
And even though it's very hard for me.
You're better now that I live with my partner. When I was alone.
Nothing.
When I was living alone, she would constantly come in and go, what's on the table? What's on the table?
Do you want me to run the vac around?
And I would say, yes, you can run the vacuum around. Please don't touch my fucking table.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. It's very funny. That makes me think of after I moved out. Do you remember when I came over once? This was years after I moved out, actually, and we just had dinner and you said to Spike, can you go unpack the dishwasher, because he was still living at home, and he said, oh, why doesn't Tansy have to unpack the dishwasher? And you said, because she doesn't fucking live here.
She's a guest.
Yeah, and he went, oh, that's bullshit, and then walked out of the room.
But that example of that boundary of me coming to your house and not saying, what I'm saying is if I come over and start cleaning your house that you live with your partner, what I'm saying to you is
you're doing it wrong.
You're not doing a very good job. I sent you a photo of what I was wearing today.
Yeah.
And my dressing room looks like we've been robbed.
It does. Do you know what I remember? I wanted to text you this morning, which is what you used to say to me when I was a teenager. I wanted to say, Kate, you need to take care of your clothes, which is what you always used to yell at me.
I am more than aware. And I said, this is my outfit, ignore my wardrobe. And you went, nice outfit. I'm ignoring your wardrobe, because that is a fucking boundary now.
Yeah, exactly. Can you imagine if you just sent me the outfit, didn't say anything, and I said, ignored what you were wearing, and I said, your wardrobe looks fucking disgusting, you little piggy person. What the fuck?
Yeah,
why?
That's fucked. And so for me, you and I lead a different kind of idea of what's organised and what's not.
Yes.
I don't have ADHD. You love a doom pile.
I do love a doom pile, but I'll tell you one thing for certain. My bathrooms are always clean. I'm a clean bitch.
I'm not saying you're not
Do
clean.
I currently have I live in a 2-story apartment. Rich. Do I currently have about 5 pairs of shoes and 89 handbags downstairs, even though my bedroom's upstairs? You bet your ass I do.
I've got a bra on my stairs.
You've got a bra in every room of that house. It's like
I
a
take
panic
them off
room.
as soon as I get home, and there's a bra sitting on the stairs. I just keep going, I've got to take that upstairs. But yeah, the boundary for me is, as a parent, you have a responsibility to grow with your child and set new boundaries.
I agree.
So
I agree with that.
That's a really important one. If you want a better relationship with your kid, then don't go to her adult house and start cleaning her toilets because you think they're not clean enough.
Why would you do that, you little freaky Friday?
I'm saying nothing.
You were saying heaps with your little eyes, aren't you, you psycho?
Well, I just know that happened to someone I know.
Did it?
Yeah, the mother went in and started re-cleaning her bathroom after a cleaning lady had been, because it wasn't quite clean enough.
What are you, fucking nurse? Chill out.
Yeah. The other thing that I hate is fucking, if you want your kid to hang out with you, then stop saying how much skinnier you are than your daughter.
What? Who did that?
You know that this has happened.
Yeah, but I'm a little fuzzy on the segue, I'll be honest, but let's go.
No, but that's something that I've been thinking about. Boundaries for me, you want a better relationship with your kid, have better fucking boundaries and respect that they're doing it their way.
Absolutely. Their life is their choice.
I don't care that you're a size 10 and assassin biddy fucking pair of pants.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck. That is not a measure of your daughter's worth.
Absolutely.
Or your son's worth.
Yeah.
Like, fucking stop comparing bodies.
Yeah, the body comparison stuff, particularly with adult daughters, is really weird.
Yeah, and the other one is playing children off against each other.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. So particularly daughters, if you've got sisters, one sister's more beautiful, one sister's more smart, blah, 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 blah. That kind of shit.
Yeah.
Like that, just, oh, man, what do you mean? I had an astrology session with a woman the other day. There's 3 sisters. Mother's a narcissist. Eldest daughter completely enmeshed, is like a slave to that mother.
Uh-huh.
Youngest daughter has completely estranged.
Yep.
She's out. Mm-hmm. And the middle daughter is trying to play both sides, and it's exhausting her.
Of course.
And I said, there are no winners. You're never going to win this game. You're never going to be the favourite. She's triangulating all of you. You have to fucking step away for your own mental health.
Absolutely.
Because whatever those rules of that game are that mother has set up, at some point that kid's going to leave.
Oh, absolutely. Why would? Yeah, no. It's just, I don't know. It's terrible gameplay, to be honest, because you don't have longevity with it.
Yeah.
Because at some point, either your child will stay in your life but hate you so fucking viscerally, and you will feel it, you will see it, or they will fuck off. And these are the options. Or you could stop being a cunt for 10 minutes and then you could have a nice relationship.
Yeah, like unless your child, say your child is estranged, like I said, like substance abuse or particularly, difficult mental health problem or whatever, you have a responsibility as a parent to do better.
Absolutely.
And that is my thing that I am not set in stone.
No.
I am always trying to grow. I'm always trying to do better. If I go over to your house and your house is not the way I would have my house, that is none of my fucking business, Kate, because you don't live there.
No, absolutely.
And that's the boundary. That's on me.
And I agree. And knowing you as well as I do, I know how bossy boots you are. And so when I see you not say anything, it means the world. Yeah, it means the world to me.
Because I would think it was weird if you came into my house and started going, Kate, all those books next to the sofa where you sit, why aren't they in the bookshelf behind you? And I'd go, fucking Nunya.
Yeah. Oh, washing on the table again.
It's always on the table.
It's always on the dining table.
Yeah, because that is the boundary that I go, that's none of my business.
Yeah.
So the next stage for me as a parent is to go, if you or Spike decide to have children, what are the rules that you want from me and or Spike's partner? What does she want from me or he, you know, all God's children, but whatever. It's like, I'm not going to assume. I'm not going to come over. I'm not going to demand. I'm not going to. If you don't want me when you have a baby, you just want your partner there. Fine. It is not my fucking journey.
Absolutely.
This is your big journey. I'm just hanging out the back, going, here if you need. Here if you need.
And God knows I will need and want, but I think it's a good thing. I mean, yeah, it's hard, I guess, because thinking about having kids in the next, not immediately, but good few years, it's a hard thing to be like, I have to ask for the help because I know you won't overstep, which is a great thing. But then it's also I've never had kids before. So I'm like, I don't know what help I'll need. I don't know. I have no idea what any of it means.
Yeah, and it's like, you know, I could ask my mum. My sister had a child by then, so I could ask her and go, is that normal? But I think there's also that expectation. Like, I watch videos on TikTok of, you know, when girls have had babies and what the in-laws or the parents are like, and really good mothers or fathers, in my opinion, walk in and check on the mum first.
Videos of new mothers in hospital, and it's always when the dad walks in and he's maybe an older fella in a like number one granddad hat, and he walks directly to his daughter before anything else, and he's like, how are you? You good?
Yeah.
Makes me fucking cry. Yeah, that's my version of soldiers coming home for some reason. There's something about it that I'm like, it's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen.
I take notes because I watch mother-in-laws or girls talking about, you know, my mother-in-law's amazing. She's just left a fucking mac and cheese and some brownies at the front door. She's taken my washing. She didn't even make herself known. Like, if you're doing it to help your kid, you don't need a fucking parade.
Yeah.
That's the other thing. You don't owe, you know, the parent really, if you're going to do that help, you don't ask for payment in, oh, mummy, thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Do it just because you fucking want to do it and you want to help.
And you actually want to make your child's day or your child-in-law's day better. You want to make everything a little bit easier because you've done it before and you know how hard it was. And instead of being like, well, you know, in my day I had no fucking help and I had 29 kids, be like, oh, it's actually really hard to raise kids, so I'll do this for you.
Yeah, and I think, you know, for me, I look at the DMs I get from people, and sometimes I just have to be really hard and go, no, that was a really shit thing that you did and you need to apologise to your kid because you've just handed on. And 9 times out of 10 people go, you're right.
Yeah.
I'm like, you were emotionally unregulated. You have a responsibility as a parent. It's like someone said to me, oh, you're such a good parent. Well, I'm not a perfect parent. But you know what? I had a lot of fucking support.
Yeah, you did.
I had a psychiatrist. I had an OT. You had a physio. I had all of this amazing social work help through the hospital. So when, you know, I was overwhelmed or I'd watch them play with you or do these things, I'd go, oh, okay, that's how you do it.
Yeah.
And yes, there's no village here. I didn't have a fucking village when I had you, but I did have that extra kind of allied health support plus a therapist. But I read a lot of books.
Yes.
I read all the books. I went to the library and I'd learn how to be organised. I had books on cooking for children. And I was very kind of directed in my parenting. I wanted to be the best that I could be. And I think if you're just having a baby and going, oh, it's so cute, oh, suddenly it's got opinions and, you know, like.
Yeah.
For me, I actually really loved being a parent. I don't really remember baby stage of you and Spike. I loved you when you guys were sassy and got my jokes.
That's fair. It took Spike ages too.
But
very
you know,
sensitive child.
like,
yes.
you've got to enjoy your kids.
Absolutely. And I think you and Dave did a really good job of socialising us really early. So we were very opinionated and neither of us were very afraid to be like, what? I don't get it. Or, oh, that's funny. That's like this thing. Because you wouldn't let us – there was no kids' table in Katie's house.
No table.
which I think was a really great thing for our like verbal skills on a purely developmental level. But socialization is so fucking huge.
You had a nanny when, and please don't read anything into that. She was $3 an hour from the council because you had a disability. So we qualified for that. And, you know, we had $2.50, but she was $3 an hour. She would come two afternoons a week and give me a break so I could go to therapy.
Love it.
And she was from Paris, and she would take you. We lived in East St Kilda at the time, which at the time was kind of quite Eastern European kind of Jewish culture, but there were a couple of cafes opening up, and she would take you there. And then one day you came back early. I said, oh, what happened? And she said, oh, well, she was really naughty. She was running around the cafe, and in Paris, that's a no. And if I want to teach her how to behave properly in places, this is why we take children to cafes in Paris. And I was like, fucking well played. There it is. I wouldn't have known that. She was a lot older than me. She had a beautiful son. And for me, that was that form of socialization that I went. And now when I see kids running around restaurants, I go, you need a Jessica. She'll tell you no, you've got to leave.
Jessica, also the reason that, do you remember that story about when we were at the park and my hat blew off and I went, oh, mon Dieu, mon chapeau.
I went, what the fuck? Oh, okay.
My hat.
But it was good, that boundary, because once we went to Target and you were in your pusher and you tried to steal an entire Dorothy the Dinosaur bed, you know, they've got
and
those
you were the
half
bitch
beds.
who wouldn't buy it for me. Yeah.
I turned around, you were dragging it, and I said, we can't take that. And you had some kind of conniption. And I said, well,
I was 12.
It.
No, I wasn't.
That's it. We've got to leave Target now.
Yeah.
They don't like people who behave like that here.
Yeah.
They won't let you in, and you were never fucked up again.
You were very good at, there was a bit of 1, 2, 3 in the homestead.
1, 2, 3 magic.
When we were, if Spike or I acted up outside, you were just like, done now.
Yep.
All finished. Party's finished. Goodbye.
Because there has to be consequences.
Absolutely. And I like, in hindsight, I think it's very funny, just the idea that either of us really acted a fool and you were just like, oh, finished.
I don't want to be that parent, but I'm going to be. You guys never had tantrums.
No, we didn't.
I just was like, when I see tantrums, I'm like, whoa, I would never let it get to that stage.
Yes.
That's the thing. I'd be like, oh.
But you also taught us to be really verbal and to wheel of feel it. And so I think there was no need for those big feelings to come out in that way, because I think it's really natural for kids to have huge feelings as they're developing and they're learning the world around them. But because you had such a focus on our kind of verbal skills so often, that kind of throwdown tantrum, we would go, actually, my version of this was constantly wandering around the house when I was about 3 and going, oh, I'm miserable today.
You were a door slammer.
I am still a door slammer if the going gets
Spike's
really
a
tough.
door slammer too. That's like your line in the sand. I go, oh. The other thing too was Dave and I would hold you both accountable if you were rude to either of us.
Yeah.
Like, don't speak to your father like that. That is not okay.
Absolutely.
You know, there's kind of that line. You know, I see a lot of self-development online around, you know, manifesting and fucking all of this palaver. And I think, can you manifest yourself and do some self-development and being a better parent?
Yes.
Because there's no excuse for not going and learning about emotional regulation. If you aren't doing the work, then don't expect it to be different.
No, absolutely. You can't just, I don't know, keep yelling at your kid the same way and being like, why are they scared of me or why do they behave so poorly?
There are watch the videos. Go and watch some fucking Super Nanny.
Go and watch some fucking Miss Rachel.
Yeah.
Can you say mama?
Can you say mama? Fuck off.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think that's really helpful, and you're great. And
you're great. What a parent.
I'm a lucky mama.
I'm going to put you up for Parent of the Year. Look at you.
Oh, at the TikTok Awards?
No, you weren't invited.
I wasn't invited.
Have a good day, everyone.
Boring.